At 4 in the morning, I jolted awake from another nightmare, not startled by a sound, but by a primal, gut-chewing hunger that clawed me awake with its raw pain. My stomach was a tightened noose, the hollow ache forcing me to curl into a ball, cold sweat drenching the back of my cheap t-shirt. In the dark, my shaking fingers fumbled for the crumpled Marlboro pack on the nightstand, fishing out the last cigarette. The lighter's metallic snap pierced the dead silence of the room, and a flicker of orange flame lit up my haggard face. I took a harsh drag, the bitter smoke ripping into my lungs, triggering a violent coughing fit. But that self-inflicted burn somehow dulled the storm churning in my gut, if only for a moment. The room was pitch black, heavy, unwashed curtains shutting out the functioning world beyond. The only light was the green glow of a phone charger plugged into the wall, like the eye of a beast lurking in the shadows, watching me with cold, emotionless judgment. I stared back, locked in a silent standoff, feeling it stare right through me. We shared a sick understanding. In a few hours, when dawn crept through the curtain's slits, the debt collector's calls would swarm like vultures scenting blood, tearing into my already rotting life. My name's Steven, and I'm 35. In photos, I look 50, eyes cloudy, temples gray. But trust me, 7 years ago, I wasn't this ghost of a man. 7 years ago, my life was a different story, a canvas I now only dare paint in dreams. I had a home, a real home. My wife, Maya, was my college sweetheart, and we'd walked from awkward campus days to the altar. When Maya smiled, her cheeks dimpled like they held sunlight. She had these charming quirks, like growing a pot of lush mint on our apartment's balcony, saying its scent soothed the soul. We took out a loan for a modest 2-bedroom in the suburbs, small, but every corner made warm and cozy by Maya's touch. Each month, we paid down the $5,000 mortgage together, not a burden, but a sweet vow of our shared future. I drove a silver Honda Accord, bought with my first big work bonus, taking me to my job at a mid-sized IT firm downtown. I felt like a true American middle-class success. The best moments were coming home, opening the door to the smell of dinner drifting from the kitchen. No matter how late, Maya always had a steaming bowl of soup waiting. Those days, wrapped in love and stability, feel so unreal now, like they belonged to someone else in another universe. We thought that life would last forever. I still remember the afternoon I proposed. No fancy restaurant, no overblown scene, just us on a hilltop in our favorite state park. My palms were sweaty as I pulled out the ring I'd saved 6 months' salary for, and dropped to one knee. Maya cried, a beautiful mess, then laughed and nodded, sunlight filtering through the trees onto her tear-streaked face. That moment is burned in my memory, a golden snapshot that never fades. We dreamed of a future with 2 kids, a boy and a girl, a house with a yard, and a golden retriever bounding around. When we bought the apartment, we were like kids on Christmas. Maya insisted on painting the bedroom walls herself, ending up splattered in pale blue, like a cute smurf. I wrestled with IKEA furniture, botching a bookshelf's panels, but Maya didn't tease. She just gently helped me fix it. Those small, everyday moments, full of life's simple warmth, were my foundation, treasures I thought I'd never lose. At work, I was well regarded, good at my job, tight with colleagues, and valued by my boss. My coworker Mark, a guy my age, was my best friend in the office. We'd play foosball at lunch, gripe about the boss, or talk movies and sports. Back then, I was confident, outgoing, brimming with hope for the future. I believed that hard work and love for my family would keep life rolling smoothly forward. I never imagined it could all unravel with one careless click. The turning point, the moment that plunged me into an abyss, came on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. I just finished a months-long project, presented it to my boss, and gotten great feedback. With the project done, I had a rare quiet moment. The office was still, just the hum of the AC and the soft tap of keyboards. Feeling the post-project void, I opened a sports news site, browsing NFL season breakdowns. Then, a flashy pop-up ad blinked in the bottom right corner. A famous football player mid-touchdown with bold text screaming, "New users get $500 free credit," and scrolling odds tempting me with easy cash. I knew about online betting sites. My reason and upbringing screamed they were scams, black holes for fools and desperados. Mark and I had even mocked stories of people ruined by gambling. But that day, something snapped. Maybe the high of the project's success, maybe the boredom of that quiet afternoon, or maybe a buried urge for a reckless thrill. After staring at the ad for 5 minutes, a voice in my head whispered, "Just $100. Barely enough for a nice dinner with Maya. If you lose, no big deal, just a bit of fun. You work hard, you deserve this." Once that thought took hold, it spread like wildfire. I glanced around, colleagues focused, no one watching. I took a deep breath, like I was about to do something earth-shattering, and clicked. The sign-up was disturbingly easy. In under a minute, I had an account. Hesitating, I linked my credit card and deposited $100. As promised, the site added $500 in free credit, my balance showing $600. That number gave me a fleeting, hollow rush. I browsed the night's games and picked a Pittsburgh Steelers versus Cleveland Browns matchup. Every analysis pointed to an easy Steelers win. Following the site's tutorials, I studied the odds and bet my $100 on the Steelers. For the next 3 hours, my life split in two. One half sat in the office, pretending to read tech docs. The other was chained to a game miles away. I couldn't watch the stream, so I obsessively refreshed the score on my phone. Every play, every defensive stop had my heart in my throat. When the final whistle blew, the Steelers won by 7, just beating the spread. I'd won. My account jumped from $500, losing my deposit would have wiped the bonus, to $695. In 3 hours, I'd turned $100 into 95. My heart slammed against my chest, hard enough to make me dizzy. It wasn't the measly $95, my daily pay was more. It was the feeling, like I'd outsmarted the system, glimpsed fate's secrets, and snatched wealth that wasn't mine. It was powerful, thrilling, laced with forbidden, addictive allure. That night, I didn't tell Maya. On my way home, I stopped at the mall and used the winnings to buy her a lipstick she'd eyed forever but thought was too expensive. When I handed her the little box, she squealed, hugged me, and kissed me, her eyes shining as she called me the best husband ever. Holding her warm, soft body, breathing in her hair's scent, I felt a pang of guilt and unease. But it was quickly drowned by a sick, electric excitement. In my head, I was already planning my next bet, what team, how much. From that day, my life tore into two irreconcilable worlds. One was shared with Maya, full of sunlight, mint's fresh scent, and steady happiness, simple, warm, like plain water that quenches and sustains. The other was mine alone, hidden behind my phone's cold screen. That world had no warmth, just flickering numbers, red and green arrows, and heart-pounding adrenaline. I was like a kid who'd found a secret playground, arrogantly thinking I could slip between these worlds, smart enough, skilled enough to escape the consequences. I hit my honeymoon phase, the sweet trap every gambler falls into, crafted by the devil himself. I started winning, hundreds, then thousands. I moved beyond NFL to NBA, European soccer, even tennis. I poured hours into studying stats, odds, and expert predictions, feeling like a Wall Street analyst. I bought Maya designer bags she'd never splurged on, upgraded her to the latest iPhone, even planned a luxury Hawaii trip. I told her it was all from a big work bonus. She never doubted me. She was proud, gently reminding me not to overwork, that money wasn't everything. I nodded absently, my mind racing through the last game's outcomes, plotting my next bet. Once, I was locked in the study, glued to my laptop, tracking live NBA playoff odds, ready to place a big bet in the final seconds. Maya poked her head in, asking if I wanted to watch a movie. My heart nearly stopped. I scrambled to switch tabs, the screen flipping to a dull tech forum. Smiling shakily, I said, "Be there in a sec, babe, just checking work stuff." She smiled, unsuspecting, and closed the door. My back was soaked in sweat, but instead of waking me up, the close call fueled a twisted, affair-like thrill. What's a gambler's fate? I can tell you now, plain and simple, you never stop when you're winning. The illusion of control, of outsmarting the odds, convinces you you're the chosen one, the exception who beats the system. You're sure the next bet will bring more. Luck, like anything borrowed, runs out fast. The turning point was a college football game I was sure I'd win. I threw in all 30 grand in my account. In the final moments, the favored team fumbled, and $30,000 vanished. Staring at the screen's glaring loss, my mind went blank. For 5 minutes, I heard nothing, felt nothing, like the world was muted. Then came a tidal wave of panic and rage. A demonic voice screamed in my head, "Get it back. Every cent." It was my money. I lost all reason. I pulled 50 grand from our joint savings, telling myself it was a temporary loan. I'd win it back plus profit, and Maya would never know. That was the first time I touched our shared money. Once that line was crossed, collapse was inevitable. I threw the 50 grand into a riskier, high-odds bet to recoup everything. Predictably, I lost. In one night, $80,000, years of savings gone. I didn't sleep that night. I maxed out one credit card, then applied for another online, approvals coming disturbingly fast, like the devil handing me loaded guns. I poured the credit and cash into the void. Day and night blurred into endless games. I grew irritable, paranoid, wired. Maya noticed, asking if work was stressing me out. I dodged with excuses. Our conversations dwindled, the house heavy with tension. My friends drifted away. Mark tried to get me out for drinks or games, but I declined, preferring to huddle over my screen. The one time I went, I was distracted, glued to my phone. Finally, Mark snapped, "Steven, what's wrong? You're not yourself." I bristled, defensive, muttering, "I'm fine, just tired." After that, he stopped reaching out. My world shrank to just me and that gambling screen. The real collapse came with a betrayal I'll never forgive myself for. After losing all my credit, and owing a predatory online lender with sky-high interest, I got a call threatening special measures if I didn't pay in 3 days. Terror gripped me. In desperation, the most vile, shameless idea took shape. We had a separate savings account with 200 grand, our angel fund for our first child's future. To Maya, it was sacred. I spent a day rehearsing lies. That night, I told her my friend David, not Mark, had been in a car accident, clinging to life, needing urgent surgery his insurance wouldn't cover. I spun the tale with such tearful detail, I almost believed it. Maya was horrified, heartbroken. "What are we waiting for? Transfer the money," she said, her eyes full of trust and concern for my friend, for me. I felt like utter scum, but my sick need to chase losses crushed my last shred of conscience. I watched her transfer the 200 grand to my account. I told her I was going to the hospital. Instead, I checked into a motel, opened my laptop, and prepared for my final stand. I swore this was it, win it all back, and I'd quit. That night was hell. I split the 200 grand across countless bets, each one a prayer and a tremor. Reality was brutal. I'd win a little, then lose more. My judgment collapsed under failure and pressure, my bets growing reckless, emotional. By 5 a.m., I placed my last bet and watched it fail. My account balance, a stark, glaring zero. $200,000, our child's future, gone in one insane night. I slumped in the motel's musty chair, motionless. Dawn crept in, a truck's rumble echoing outside. In the laptop's reflection, I saw a gaunt, bloodshot-eyed man I didn't recognize. I touched my temples, gray hairs had sprouted. I was 35,